Hey, hey, Rambo.
Hey, hey.
How's it going?
Good. The start of spooky season, isn't it? It's
Ooh,
day one.
Spooktober. I just gotta get my costume ready. I need a pink pageant dress. I need a crown. I need a
Mm.
scepter. I need some frilly little socks. I do not like Halloween. I have been kind of a refuser to do Halloween costuming for as long as I can remember. I even tired of it as a child. I remember thinking like this whole thing again. Oh, but I want to be JonBenet. I want to be JonBenet for my Halloween costume. I want to dress up in her little pink pageant dress. I want to put on the crown. I want to wear the America Royal Miss sash. I want to do it upright. It's the only way. I think it's the only costume. It's the only costume that I will put on. And it may not be this year, It may not be that, but it's on my radar. It's on my
We'll do
radar.
it eventually.
This is the year. If there is a year to do it, I mean, she's being brought up again. The digital bones of JonBenet Ramsey, they will never rest because the machinery trots her out whenever it feels like we are lacking enthusiasm in whatever story is upon us. Let's back up a little bit. Have you seen Erica Kirk, JonBenet?
Yeah. Seen that. Seen you post that. Yeah. Is that what people are saying then? Because I've been fully still tuned out.
I got
So
a
I don't
lot
know
of
much.
I got a lot of DMs saying, "Have you seen this? Have you
What
seen
they're saying,
this?
like
Have
how
you
they said
seen
it was
this?"
Katy Perry. Like now
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yep. Yep.
what's she called? His wife.
What? Katie?
What's
Wait,
no,
what?
his wife,
Oh,
Charlie Kirk's
Erica.
wife,
Erica.
Erica.
Erica Kirk. And Erica Kirk has three K's in it. KKK. Erica with K. Erica has one, then Kirk has two. And so I just feel like that's a little subtle a nod to the tensions that are burning. Of course, she has KKK in the name. Also, I think KKK is a spell. And I also think JonBenet is a spell. But I think, like the Ku Klux Klan, I think a lot of that is just hogwash and men dressing up in costumes. Again, back to Halloween, and like play acting essentially. I don't think it was as nefarious as we've been shown through the lens of the media, that there was this like really powerful, horrific organization just running amok in every southern city. I don't actually think that that was the truth. I do think, kind of like the Masons, there is a group of men that kind of sit around and they wear costuming, and that's as harmful as it is. Like that's it. Like that's what the Masons, that's the big secret. It's just men sitting around in costume. Same thing with the KKK. But there's something about those letters, those three letters. I
Why
think
is she now like now? She's like her own person. Now she's like her own TV
she's the
personality now all of
president
a
of
sudden,
the
isn't she?
organization. Yeah,
I seen her
and
coming
it's
out like to like flames and
mhm.
fireworks and stuff.
Fireworks. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, the whole, we talked a little bit about the memorial on last episode and how bizarre energetically that felt and was, and the focus seeming it was very much political rally or WWE SmackDown, and less of like a somber memorial for someone who has passed. And now she's being heralded as the leader of Turning Point USA. But the thing is, like, of what? Like this
What
organization that
what is
nobody
that?
like, who, okay, who
What does it do?
cares? Yeah, what? Show me what they've done. Show me anywhere. Like, show me the influence that this organization has had. Like, show me what, why should I care at all? That she's now and again, like, this is when I say she, I'm pretty convinced that the Kirks are just characters, that they kind of just came out of nowhere around 2020, 2018, or around, not that long ago. People will argue, when I say nobody knew about Charlie Kirk before this whole thing, that's not exactly true, because there are some people really plugged into the conservative Christian community, and they will argue to the death that they knew about him a couple of years ago. Okay, so you've got a couple of years of a runway. That doesn't mean that this character lived and has a full life, that they've actually lived. It just means they were inserted into the narrative a couple of
I
years
don't
ago,
know if
which isn't that
anyone
long.
attended one of his debates.
Yeah. the debate,
I'd love to know
he's
that.
shown as a great debater. Even we talked about this a little bit with the memorial, how it was said that hundreds of thousands of people attended. I don't think that that is true. I do think that there are quite a few people that have a parasocial relationship now with this character of Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk, and they believe that they are deeply connected in some way, and perhaps they did go to the memorial and sit out in their car in the lines and in the queue, get in line, and they were out there waiting and waiting and waiting for hours and hours and hours, only to be told that, oh, we're full, time to turn around, and you can park here in this excess parking lot and grieve outside with everybody else. But I think that's what it was. I don't think that people really were meant to go inside and see it. They were just meant to be told that it was too full and too popular, and they would just,
Because like now you've even myself I feel like I know him or know what he was about and stuff through all the
Sure.
clips
Yeah.
that
Oh,
are
yeah.
everywhere. All these
Best
little,
husband,
all
best
the clips
father.
all come out from that day. Really,
And I will say a lot of the clips attempting to show him as a great husband and great father, they're uncomfortable. Like there's this one where he's again, like the great man that Charlie Kirk is, and he's talking about meeting his wife for the first time, and he was interviewing her for a job, and at the end he said, "I'm not going to hire you. I want to date you." And everyone's like, "Oh, how sweet!" But I'm like, "Ooh, that's actually not great. That would be not great."
is that
for
where
a
he met her then? Yeah.
yeah. And she's like, "Good, I don't need the job anyway. Oh, let's get married." And I'm like, "Well, if you're a female, go." I've been sexually harassed by men in the workplace before. Nothing actually bad occurred because I got myself out of there, and then I reported it, and I'll have to talk about that whole thing at another time because that ended up blowing up in my face. That's a whole nother time. But for like a woman in a career to be at a job interview, and for the person that she's interviewing with to go, "Hold on, I'm not going to hire you. I'm going to date you." I'd be like, "Wait a second,
Isn't that
I
what
want
all
this
the Me
job."
Too movement want that
That's
about?
100%. Yeah. I'm like, it's problematic. It may not, and yeah, am I being a Pollyanna? Sure. Yeah, am I? Because, people in the workplace have come together and blah, blah, blah. But it's not as like sweet and gentlemanly as we'd like to think. And that's just one of them. There's a lot of videos of him interacting with the kids. And you mentioned how we've never seen the faces of the kids, which I think of the volume of media that we have been shown of this family, the fact that there's not one face shot of the children, that's interesting. It's just interesting. And I think it kind of goes to the kind of manufactured element of all of this media. But there was this one video, we talked about it last time, but it stuck with me, where he's describing Newton's laws to his baby. And again, it's like a baby, it maybe a toddler, but you can tell by the rolls on the arms, on the forearm, that it's still very much baby. It's a baby version of a toddler. And it's just like playing with a sippy cup in Charlie's trying to explain these very complex laws of Newtonian physics. And the baby's obviously not listening because it's a baby. And Charlie just keeps getting more and more frustrated, literally slamming the sippy cup on the table, and just you can hear and feel and see the frustration rising on Charlie's side, and he's getting more and more short with the baby, and it just feels like this is supposed to be a video of how doting he is as a father, how he's teaching his young all of the important things that one would need to learn to go forth in life. And I just see it all as like, this guy's kind of a jerk. It's coming across jerky. Same with I don't want to hire you, I want to date you. That's kind of jerky. It's giving jerky vibes. But the eye of the beholder, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So too is jerky boy, whatever he is. I'm not so keen on Kirk. And so when I do watch videos of him, he kind of looks like a smarmy asshole. And that's how I see him, and I think that's how I interpret it. But I'm sure that there are countless people out there that are watching the same video of him teaching Newtonian physics to the baby and going, "Oh, what a great father. Oh, what a great husband. Oh, the next generation is all right because we've got fathers and husbands and leaders like this man. Oh, his life was cut too short." It's just something and we'll kind of, because there are people that are obsessed with Charlie Kirk now. There are people that are acting like he is the next coming of Christ and that he is everything he's ever said and everything he's ever done needs to be followed and adhered to. And this is the way of, it's just weird.
So is it a newspaper that said it was, or some sort of big media that said his wife was JonBenet?
Oh, it's just conspiracy community. It's just conspiracy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what account started it, but it got shared and then it got shared and then it got shared and now it's everywhere. And I've got countless people sending it to me. And, for when I see anything tying back to JonBenet, for me, it indicates the first indication is that this is Aurora Boros, again, the snake eating its own tail, everything kind of coming back to this origin. I feel like JonBenet is a real origin point for a lot of the current flavoring of illusion and delusion, the technology behind it, the attention capture through the media. I feel like she's just an incredible case study in how all of this works. And I also think that, I should have said this a little earlier, but I also think she's kind of a spell. Anytime we have JonBenet in our mind frame, we are being coded. Like there is some sort of program that is running through her visual, through her story, through her character, through her entity. It's some sort of computer program that's running in our brain, the JonBenet program. Something, I don't know how to explain it. I don't have the words for it. I barely have the cognition in my own mind to kind of feel the tingles of this, but I do feel like she is some, I used to say she was a spell, it's a spell, but I think essentially it's some sort of computer code that runs in us, that where the operating system that this code runs through. And there's quite a few things that tie back to JonBenet. But whenever I see a current event tying back to JonBenet, I'm like, there's that snake getting hungry for its tail, gobble gobble. And then the second thing I think is, God, how desperate. This is desperate. Like desperate times call for desperate measures. And the machinery is it's back to the old tricks. This is a reliable trick. And I think that we weren't paying enough attention. I think the attention was kind of waning. Maybe the conspiracy community, I think that there was a level of fatigue within the conspiracy community of all this. Well, how do we get them back? How do we get them back? Let's throw JonBenet back into the water, let's put that chum back into the water and have the sharks go mad. And I think that's they just threw that bait right into the waters, the shallow waters, and here we all come running. Give me some, there's something that feels it's just a trap. It's a trap. It's the old tricks. I feel like the system is desperate. These are the death rattle. I feel like we are witnessing the death rattle of the machinery, those last gasps, those desperate gasps for oxygen. And our attention is the oxygen of the machine. It is what the machinery runs off, is our attention and energy. And
over here, there's a lot of energy going about at the minute. More protests. There are about the digital ID, the brick card was announced.
And what's everybody scared about with that? When they've already got a digital ID in their pockets.
Yeah.
Every single person.
The theories of this one is you're going to go to the shop to buy some meat for some steak, as an example, and they're going to go, sorry, you've had too much steak this week, you have to come back. Or you're going to go to book a holiday and they go, sorry, your carbon footprint is too much. So
I guarantee you they'll never turn anybody away from a liquor store. Oh, you've already had too much liquor this week. You can't have any more. They would never say that.
It feels too full on, like to anger people. It feels too straight for how it's just come out now, and they want people to protest. There's petitions going on and everything. But for me, my first thought is it would have just done this in 2020 if they wanted it doing, because everyone was like weak then to what was going on, and I feel like it was like more likely to happen then. And let's say it does somehow happen. It's not going to happen through this way of the Prime Minister announcing now that they're gonna get, if it's gonna happen, I think they're gonna get people to ask for it. So at the minute they're making it out like if you get this, it will stop illegal immigrants coming into the country. That's how they're selling it to you. Like if you get this digital card, you can't just work because there's a big thing with all the flags going up and illegal immigrants everywhere. So they say that it's just not gonna. I just can't see it coming off this. Too many people are against it, out protesting it. They're saying there's like protests at the minute going, we're left and we're right, but we're come together against the digital ID. There's them kind of protests going on.
You know,
So then that was like kind of against each other the other week about the England flags everywhere, and now protesting as a group together against this digital ID, the Brit card. But I know that in some other countries they already have this digital ID. I'm not sure
we've
where.
got the real ID in the US. I didn't even, when I renewed my driver's license, I got one. I didn't even,
But then it's
just
got
was
a chip on it as well. So it's kind of already
everything's got a chip
digital.
on it. All of your
Like,
credit cards have a chip on it. Your
your
phone's got a chip
passport
on
has
it.
a
Your
chip
passport's
on
got a
it.
chip on it. This is just fear monger. It's
And
just
I had to
so silly.
do something. It wasn't too long ago. I had to renew like a criminal records check for a workplace, and I
bad
never
boy.
knew, that when you can actually scan that chip in your passport yourself. I didn't even know until I'd done this thing.
What?
It said, "Please hold your chip of your passport up to the screen." So it's already kind of already there, and it's already digital because it only needs that scan of that, and it shows up somewhere digitally. You know.
Yeah. Digital ID.
And
And
we're
this goes
signing
even
up
more
to everything
woo-woo.
online, and
I think we're already digital beings. Like we
course.
already have a digital ID. Like just everything we do is fingerprinted to us. Like every, they say this, I don't really necessarily believe in DNA science and all that stuff, but they say like, even if I were to shed one follicle of skin, like one tiny little skin cell were to come off of me, in that tiny little skin cell contains all of the information of me, like that. And I think that is true in a sense, not that the explanation of like DNA for forensics, I think there's a lot of hogwash within that, but I do think that everything of us essentially does have a mark, some sort of marker that is the completeness of us. I think we're so tied up on our fingerprint. Oh, the fingerprint this and fingerprint that, and oh, my fingerprint is so unique. But did you know that there's over 1,000 areas on our body that are as unique at like certain areas that you could do, like even the heel of your hand or the bottom of your foot. Like there are so many. And I probably misspoke. That's hyperbole when I said over 1,000. Somebody else look into that, fact check that for me. But there are many. Actually, I think all. I'm gonna backtrack my backtrack.
Everything on us.
Basically, everything on us can be tied with a one-to-one back to us. We are unique in every element of ours. And sure, okay, what about identical twins? Okay, I don't know about that. I don't know, but for there are so many parts of us that are uniquely and solely us. It's not just our fingerprint. It's not just our blood. It's not just our little strands of hair that may, it's everything. And, and they say too, like that our irises are now being scanned. There's a big push in the cryptocurrency community of like scanning irises for identification and also to check if you're a real human and not a robot, very much like Blade Runner sort of situation. But that, we are unique. We are fundamentally unique, but also, as I say that, I also think that we are incredibly united. Our uniqueness is kind of a facade, like my handprint being only mine and not anybody else's. That does kind of, and same thing with my fingerprint. It's mine, all mine. But I do think that it kind of messes us up a little bit to have this almost like terminal uniqueness when we are all one somehow. It's kind of a paradox. It is kind of a paradox because I do believe that individually we have something very unique, each of us, like a gift or a tool or something inside of us that only we have and nobody else has it, and we have to access that and we have to share it. But that said, I say that on one side, but on the other side, I think we are all one. I think ultimately together collectively we are a great oneness. And just like the signs from the protests, we're left, we're right, but we're reuniting over this one thing. Well, I don't think we should be reuniting over the digital IDs or whatever. Like, I think that that's kind of a silly thing to unite the populace. I think that we should be uniting over our immense power, like our ability to truly change this world and our ability to be magical creatures in this magical
I don't
realm.
think changing it is by protesting, though. That's the thing. People believe
Yeah,
that by hanging these flags out and
yeah.
protesting, that's the change. But
It's almost feeding the machinery even more,
yeah,
these
cool. That's what
protests.
it feels like. So
Yeah.
it's just a bit feels to me that's how it's just been put out there now, and everyone just overnight. That's what everybody's talking about now. Digital ID. I'm not getting it. I don't consent and all this stuff. But then, like you say, it already is. And if it was going to happen, it would have happened in 2020.
Yeah.
I just can't. I just feel like it's something to fear. Another thing to fear, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
I
another
just
thing.
can't
And
see how it would happen and how they've said about the immigrants and stuff like that, and that's what it stops. And it's just it sounds crazy to me, and I personally don't think it's going to happen. Like I
yeah, I
say,
don't
because it
think it's
already
going to
has happened.
be, I don't think anything scare like all the things about this. I guess it's all going to like Minority Report sort of situation where you can be arrested for a thought crime or something. Like you can be so tracked and so known that they're going to get you before things are even done. I feel like a lot of like the digital ID, it it rings bells that we've been fed through Hollywood of this like Big Brother surveillance. This kind of goes to a concept that we have kicked around for quite some time. The idea of privacy is an illusion. That we've had any privacy at all is, I think, it's just a concept. Like privacy is just a concept that we believe in, but it's not actual reality or truth. I think that I have a weird feeling that everything is known. Truly, everything that is, including thoughts, is known. It's recorded in some way. It's registered in some capacity. And I don't think I don't think it's a judgmental capacity sitting up there watching your every move going tisk, 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 shouldn't have done that, bad, bad, bad. I think it's just a neutral observer, and a neutral recording system that just captures everything that is. It's, I guess, the Akashic records. There's a concept of this with everything that's ever, all that has existed and all that's ever been known exists in some, a grand record outside of this realm, the Akashic record. I might not even be saying that correctly, but there is concept for this. And I do believe that all of the visualizations of like Big Brother are just there to keep us in some sort of because we police ourselves, we surveil ourselves, like we kind of keep ourselves in check. And I think we do that when we believe we're being watched. Like, I think that we kind of, it's again, I don't really have the right words to describe it, but I think that it's all just perception games. And by constantly focusing on these privacy issues, and all the other like hoops that people will jump through to like maintain their own privacy, it's all for naught, and it's all a fool's errand. And we should just be more focused on just
Like you
living,
say, there
like
is
living
no
in truth.
privacy. If you've got a mobile phone and
It knows everything.
there is no privacy, and it doesn't matter if you've got a password on it or you're using a VPN or whatever. It's
Yeah, and that's what I mean too. All these VPNs, all these. Oh, I'm just gonna connect and say I'm in Slovenia, and then they'll never know which websites I am looking at. These little jump through hoops. And again, like when you install that VPN on your device, it's giving you a sense of privacy. It's not giving you actual privacy. It's giving you a sense of privacy. And that sense is very powerful. It will enable you to act like you're being, private and nothing's being known, And, yeah. I was about to share too much information, but I'm not going to.
Like it goes back to the 1984 George Orwell book, and then it's giving that the conspiracy theory to right again thing. But I think they're putting it out there officially. Everyone's rejecting it, and then there's going to be something. I don't know what that comes up where people need it and they want it, and they're going to say, "Hey, well, you offered us that digital ID. Now we need we kind of need it now." Like I feel like that's how it's going to come around. For it. Yeah, that people are going to beg for it.
Yeah,
and it will be to do with. It'd be more likely the cashless kind of thing, because that's coming. A lot of places near me now won't even take cash.
Yeah.
Is that what it's like there? Is there any talks of digital IDs over there at all? Or
cash is becoming less and less convenient, if that makes sense. Like to carry cash is becoming more of a hassle. I don't think that nobody's rejecting cash yet. Well, there are a few shops that say that they're cashless.
Yeah, the signs up.
It's growing, but I think people in general have just made the switch. They've just, without anybody telling them to stop carrying cash, without anybody.
Easier to just touch the card and that keep going up and up and up.
Yeah, and then once you become used to it, I carry, because of programming from my childhood, my mom always told me to have a $20 bill for emergencies on my person. This is back in the day where you could like get a cab if you need it, for $20, and but I still do. I still 9 times out of 10, I have a small amount of cash on my person in case of an emergency, even though if that emergency were to arise, I'd probably pull out my phone anyway, but it's still.
The cash is how they're going to get people on the digital ID. So let's say, right, the supermarkets started, because I don't know, does cross my mind, but I don't know what the supermarkets are like over there. But do you have like self-serve where you serve yourself?
We've got a couple of those.
You do the check. That's pretty much everything over here now, the self-service checkout. And it has a gate on it now. So whilst you're doing your shopping and scanning everything, you're on a camera just like this. You can see yourself. You see your face. And it's that camera, right? It's not there to stop you stealing, is it? It's not really there to stop. It's not looking down at your hands or anything. It's just looking at your face.
Yeah.
And if you did put anything in the basket, it flashes up red and shouts the person over to come and check your shopping or whatever. But then there's a gate.
There's
the interesting area.
It is interesting how the camera is on us.
Face? Yeah,
because when we believe we are being watched, we will police our own behaviors. Like if we feel the camera's gaze on us, that we will. I think some people, maybe not all, probably definitely not all, but some people will go, okay, I'm not going to steal this bag of Cheetos or whatever.
Would you even be at the counter if you was going there to steal? Would you be like? And it made me think though, say you are looking to this camera, somehow, let's say the supermarkets are the ones that say, right, it only accepting digital payment, and you just look into the camera and it's paid using whatever
your iris
in there. Yeah, because it is weird. It's kind of like this on your face, the camera. It's not looking at your hands or anything. Yep. Or looking at you just throwing it all in the bag if you wanted to. You can avoid paying if you really wanted to there. But then why would you go to the
I think it's psychological. I think when we see ourselves, we will police ourselves more. I think I think that there's something about that. It's because it almost looks like CCTV footage already. Like it looks like security foot. Like when you're looking on the self-checkout.
Yeah, that's how it looks, doesn't it? And it's on every. But how is it as well? In the UK, they're always out of order. So they're sending you that way, and there's 3 that work out of 20.
Yeah.
How are they constantly broken, these machines? It doesn't make sense. It's like they're leading you to just the 3 at the back, and it's just a bit. there's something with that. And when I think about the digital ID and how would it's only through buying groceries how they could make it work and cash.
Yeah.
If they were saying, right, no more cash, no more tapping your card because it's too unsafe because the immigrants might tap your card. That's all I need to say to people.
Yep.
And then they'll go, right, I'll put my face on it then. Like, that's all I
Not
need
the
to say.
immigrants.
What if an immigrant gets your card and taps it? Then they'll be like, right, get me face quick, give me digital ID.
Get that
It's
face
going
on
to be
there.
begged for rather than forced upon. But that's the biggest news going on here. It's all I can see, and all my algorithm is pushing towards me is those AI made videos. So have you seen those AI videos that I made?
Oh yeah,
And it's
Sora
basically,
2
it'll
just
show like a
launched.
grandmother at like a little grandma at the counter buying a shopping. It'll go, sorry, love, you've had too many tea bags this week. You have to come back next week. Or it'll show a family going on holiday. It'll go, sorry, your carbon footprint's too big this year. You have to wait till next year to go on holiday. I don't think that's
That will
where
never
it's heading.
happen.
It's
Like
more the
literally,
cash thing.
yeah. And there will never be. We live in a capitalist society. There will never be a moment where the government says you can't spend that money on something. Like that's literally how our world operates, is by us spending our money. And I just don't foresee them coming down and going, oh, no, you can't spend that money right now. Like, or you can't buy that thing that you want right
No.
now, or you can't go on that vacation right
They
now.
want
Like,
you to spend
they
it
need
all,
you to
really.
spend all of it. Like, and you know what? And even these videos of like, of scaring you that you won't be able to take your vacation, that's just going to make people vacation harder, you know?
Yeah, spend more.
Yeah, spend more. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. By
That's
threatening
all
to
I'm
take it away,
seeing
people are just going
on
to do
my
more.
timeline at the minute is those kind of videos all talking about digital ID. Then you'll get like the angry kind of like Q kind of guy saying, we told you it was coming. We knew it was coming. But that's what they want you to think, you know what I mean? It's gonna be about cash in the long run. I feel like over you. It's just like you say, it's to get rid of. In my opinion, it's more about getting rid of the cash and than having your digital ID. Because every website you've signed up for, you give your ID, or
Yeah.
the fact you've got a driving license, you've got your ID stored digitally. They've got your ID, and they're saying this is to work. So you won't be allowed a job or any sort of government benefits unless you have a digital ID. That is what the selling point of this is. You can't work without one.
And I foresee a future where we don't have to work for the machine. We don't have to work for the man. All of that actually sounds kind of freeing.
Sounds great.
No,
Yeah.
it actually sounds great. It actually sounds great. Okay, this reminds me of Klaus Schwab's, you will own nothing and you will be happy. I'd be like, great. Great,
Like
joyful. Yeah, I'm there. Sign me up. Sign me up for owning nothing, and it will.
Something. Do you go with your gut feeling? My gut feeling tells me it won't happen in this way, or how the people are saying it's going to happen.
I just think the timing's incredible, because you
gotta
have
be
been talking
begged
about
for.
this. You've been mentioning this immigration dust up, like these rising, boiling tensions for really the past month. Plus, it's been leading up to this point. I am not at all surprised that this new introduction, like this threat of the new IDs and all that's coming right now, as tensions are the highest. And, you know, they say necessity is the mother of all invention. They're trying to manufacture necessity right now through these very, polarizing protests and the raging debate on immigration. I feel like, exactly as you have said, all of this is laying the groundwork to make us beg for it, for this thing, for this new system, beg for a new system. And back to cash too, cash is, it's all just a game of what we believe. I can have a $5 bill in one hand and a $100 bill in the other hand. I can set them both on fire. Both will burn at the exact same rate. There is nothing different between these two pieces of paper except for the graphics that have been applied to them. There's no difference. And fun fact, Money, US currency, is not paper. It's fabric. It's a very specific blend of cotton and linen. Very specific blend. I say very specific because the cotton comes from Texas, from a very concentrated. It's just very specific, like the type of material. And I think that there is something kind of magical about. Actually, I think there's something magical about cotton. For another podcast.
So what's it like when you put one in the washing machine? You've left it in your pocket?
It'll fade. It'll fade a little bit, but it can go through a million washes. It can go through many, but yeah, it'll fade. We don't have the plastic applique like you guys do, like that almost like sheet.
That's just plastic money now.
Yeah. Well, beneath the plastic there is a fabric. It's a plastic coated fabric, but there is something, and again, like fabric, the weaving, there's something being woven. But okay, but all that to say, we've gone through many iterations of monies. Cash being one system of monies. They say back in the day we used to use our teeth, because it was a finite quantity, and as you lose your teeth, that's they say the teeth were the original currency. I don't believe in deep history.
That's where the tooth fairy comes from, is it?
Yes. The connection between currency and our teeth goes deep. It's woven deep in there. But I think that, and then shells. They tell us, if you read history, shells were an early form of currency. Coinage, they used to, there used to be before gold. There have been iterations, and then paper checks, people writing checks, those are kind of gone by the wayside. I remember when credit cards were well, I don't remember, but I do remember a change. I do remember a change where these new plastic things were introduced, and it changed the way that my mom paid for groceries at the store. And I think that there was a hesitation with plastic, with credit cards. There absolutely was. And then it just became so intrinsic in society that the convenience was impossible to resist. And then that ushered in a new wave of payment technologies. It didn't eradicate cash, but I think we're getting closer and closer and closer.
Looks that way.
Yeah.
And they only need to drop like a little bit of an incentive, like you get a $3,000 if you move to your face to pay.
Yeah.
How many people would just do that? Like, even if they said 10,000, because money's fake anyway.
Yeah.
The 10,000, everyone would just do it, wouldn't they? They'd just be signed up face. Then there is no money, but it was done.
Yeah. And to anybody listening that goes, what do you mean money is fake? My mortgage payment is due next week, and that's not fake. You're correct. You are correct. There are real systems built around these false programs. Money is a program that runs in our mind. Again, like back to these computer programs, and it's based solely off our belief. Off that money is a gentleman's agreement. All money systems, all of them, is a shared agreement between parties that this thing is real and valuable.
Amount,
yeah. When we all know it's not. We all know that $1 bill and that $100 bill are the same. One does not have more intrinsic value. It has an applied value, a human applied value, and it requires us humans to give it that value. Without us, it's just a piece of paper. It's just trash. It's just trash on the sidewalk, And I think our relationship with money is so important in how we operate with it. I grew up in a household that was where money was God. I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that in the worst way. Money was God and the devil, and we were always in need of it. And it was always talked about. My parents were, my dad specifically God bless my mom. She was just trying to hold on for dear life. But my dad was a little bit of a gambler. He liked to throw those dice, snake eyes at the craps table, and that is a snake eyes reference to all the Charlie Kirk stuff.
I keep seeing it.
I know. I don't have time for it. I'm like, whatever. Oh, it's the plot of a movie. What else is new? Honestly, what else is new? Oh, this event taking over our entire collective conscious, it can be mapped out in an old Hollywood movie. Oh, get in line. Get in line. Like if we had $1 for all of the times where these things have been like mirrored perfectly. And remember that Netflix thing of a train derailment and then the Ohio train derailment? It's just like, oh my God. You know, yeah, but because of my dad's because of his relationship with money, I think it kind of affected. I was very troubled. I was very troubled by it, and I had growing up, like I had this notion of like I'm going to do it differently than my parents, and I was very stingy. I would say very stingy. I would be very obsessive if I go to like lunch with friends, and I had a salad and water, and they had some sort of elaborate entree, and mine was $10 and theirs was $20, and we'd have to split it, and I would be like counting every excess dollar that I shouldn't have owed, and I would I would keep that tally running in my brain. I had to get rid of that. I haven't thought, like now I just buy, if I'm out to lunch or I'm out to dinner, I will just buy the other person's meal. Like I completely have taken that mindset out of my equation by like engulfing it with radical generosity. Like, and I don't even think twice. I just know, even when it doesn't make sense. Like I've picked up the tab when it doesn't even make sense. And some people say, hey, that sounds kind of foolhardy. But what I know in myself and in my soul is that I am actively trying to reprogram myself in this effort, in this kind of like correction, maybe overcorrection. I'm attempting something that can be done and needs to be done, rewriting our own programming, rewriting the programming that we were kind of born into. Our families program us, and our culture, our culture being our directness. When we're young, the people and influences that directly influence our lives. That is our culture when we are young, and we don't know what we don't know, and a lot of times like you don't know if things are weird in your family until like you're kind of out there in the real world, or you don't realize that this programming is non-traditional until you're out there in the real world. And it really took meeting and marrying my ex-husband, who has a completely different philosophy around money towards me. He's just incredibly generous, doesn't think twice, just it's in his soul. He did not grow up with money. He grew up again also with a struggling home, but the nature of his parents' relationship with money was very different than my parents' relationship with money, and his generosity. I watched it at work. I watched what it did. I would observe him and how he was with finances, and I realized that it was couldn't have been more opposite than the way that I felt with finances. And I started to try to emulate that. I started, even though it was against my nature and it didn't make me feel all that great at first, because I was like, oh no, precious money leaving my hands. This thing that I had been so threatened by growing up. The almighty money god is always smiting my family. We're always in money jail or whatever. And there was something about watching him do things differently that made me think, oh, I can do things differently too. And it's been about a decade now, but I'm getting better. I no longer stress, even because I don't have job security. I don't have financial security. The things that you get from working at a corporation, nobody's contributing to my 401k. It's 100% on me but I just trust that it will come. I trust that when times are tight, that it will flow. And I need to be less restrictive. When I am restrictive, the flow is restrictive. When I am loose, the flow is generous and easy, and it comes to me more easily. And I just have to trust that. and it's magic. I think that money is just some sort of, again, they don't call it, I talked about this many times before, but they don't call it currency because currency means money. They call it currency because currency means energy, a flow of energy. And money is just a representation of the flow of our energy. And I think we can reestablish a relationship with this magic, with this medium of money. And I'm still learning, but generosity has something to do with it. And alleviating yourself of the tightness, that tight feeling we feel when we go, oh, I remember the first time I ever used DoorDash, I was very late to the DoorDash game because that's
What's that?
It's like a food delivery app, you know,
Right.
and I wouldn't do it because there was excess fees. You know, there was a driver fee and a gratuity and then the delivery fee. And, you know, this $8 burrito ends up costing $20 to come to your house. And I refused. I stood on principle. I wouldn't even do it at times like that it actually made sense to do. Like if I had a work thing and it was like a crew meal and it was an expense on the client and I was like, no, it's too much money, you know? But then I remember the first time I let myself do it, I was like, okay, this fee is going to pay for this technology that is now magical and in your life. This fee is going to go towards convenience, and hey, that's cool. And this other fee, that's going to go towards the driver, and hey, that's cool. And maybe add him another $1, you know, instead of getting tight with all these fees, maybe just add to, you know, be thankful that this even exists and maybe be a little bit more gratuitous or gracious or whatever. And I remember the first time I actually did order it, like it hurt, but it hurt good. It hurt in the good way. And now I have no compunction. You know, it's not a regular thing that I do, but now it's like, just, you will never think about that extra $4 again in your life unless you torture yourself, which I used to. And I used to torture myself over dollars, less than $10, like splitting lunch with a friend. And I paid an extra few dollars. I would think about that for hours and hours and days, you know? Not that mattered in my life. Not that if I got all of those dollars back, it would be anything of note, you know, wouldn't change my life materially in any way. If I rounded up all of those excess dollars paid over the years, I'd probably have $100, you know, and 100, it's nothing. It's truly nothing. But with the energy that I gave to it, oh boy, that's something. That's something. And I don't know. I'm just in a real mood right now. I'm kind of over this. Where's she going with this?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Some sort of.
I'm just kind of over the Charlie Kirk stuff.
It's some sort of magical, energetic. There's a reason why it's there, and I know we have to buy stuff, but there is other ways of. There must have been another way, but for whatever reason, they chose this way and currency.
Yeah.
And calling it currency, because to me, obviously, like you say, you need to pay your bills and that, but it just don't. I don't feel like I value it very much. I don't at all, actually.
And I think I valued it too much.
In one hand, and it goes out the other, and that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I have been on the other end of the spectrum where I valued and still value too much, and I give it too much energy. I give it too much importance, and that is what I am. It's been a decade of attempting to rewire myself from this. It's all fear-based. It's all fear-based because I remember, as a kid, like we were not religious. I dabbled in the Methodist church because I wanted to be cool with my, 6th grade Bible study group. And I made my mom get whatever. Like we were not a religious family. But I remember praying. The only prayers I ever did as a child, I would pray that my dad would finally win big at the casino so that he could stop going. Dear God, just let him win big. Just let him get what he's searching for. Let him. Little did I know that it's like a sickness.
He didn't want to win. Yeah, they must want to win.
He was addicted to losing. He was addicted
winning
to losing.
Feeling or losing feeling. Yeah,
He was addicted to the
up
race.
And down of Oh, I lost.
Absolutely.
I'll win it next time. That's
It
it.
was such a thrill. I didn't realize that though, and so I just was always praying that he would hit it. He would hit it big. I didn't even know what that meant, but I wanted him to hit it big so that he could be alleviated of this chase, this constant hustle, like, or this constant, yeah, a race to nowhere, with this carrot dangling in front of his face constantly. I just remember, I have this vision of myself in my bedroom, and I'm, doing my pantomime of prayer with my hands clasped together. I didn't even know what I was doing, but yeah, I just had one prayer just
That it just wins.
just that he could win, because it was, I could, even as a young child, I could see the stress. I could see the devaluation within the family, like the destruction within the family caused by this thing, this almighty dollar. I could see how much control it had, and I just wanted us to be free of that. I wanted us
It's
to be
mad to
free.
think how that works on your brain, because I've done it myself. Like how you don't care, you could win £1,000,000 and you'll put it all back in till be 1,000,000 down.
Yeah,
You're not playing for the
yeah,
money or what you can do or anything. You're doing it just to play the game.
yeah,
Like it's crazy how it kind of gets your brain thinking that, because it is about money, but then it's not.
yeah,
At the same time, the money's fake because it's just tokens for you, when you're doing it.
yeah. And gambling addiction is
One of the worst,
one of the
I'd say.
hardest to unravel from. Yeah. Yep. It's yeah. I remember my I think I might have told this before, but my dad had he had a knee injury so he worked on like these offshore oil rigs, these deep water rigs, and they're really, really, really intense workplaces. And he was in the deepest of the deep water, in the deep ocean. Deep water exploration is what he did. Which I feel like is kind of a fun little tie into what I do. But he would be out there in the depths, and these rigs were not safe. They're actually quite dangerous. And he had a knee injury one time, and he couldn't work for about a year. He was on disability for about a year. And in that time, he devised this plan of how he was going to keep earning, because it was a diminished pay on the disability. He was going to keep earning by becoming a professional gambler. And all of us were like, oh God, oh no. But he set up a craps table on our dining room table. He turned our dining room into a craps, a craps
Like the
table.
dice, in it.
Yeah, the dice and
Throw
everything, and
dice.
the green felt, and all the positions, and he would just be down there for hours and hours, just practicing his throw, like practicing his kind of robot arm throw, getting it so dialed in that he could roll whatever he was attempting to roll. Like I'm talking about a dedication, 8 hours a day, all day. This was his big solution to everything, was let me go harder into my addiction. we were all very scared during that time. Thankfully, he recovered. I think during that time was one of the times that he quote unquote gambled away my college tuition. I heard that a couple of times. Very thankful for all the scholarships I was able to get, because without those, who knows if I would have gone to school. But yeah, I remember coming down that one morning and seeing that emerald green felt on top of the dining room table, and it clicking like instantly, this like, oh shit, oh no, things are getting worse, not better. Yeah. And there's something about, and I spent a lot of time in Vegas. There is not a place where money is more of a god than in Las Vegas. And I actually am thankful for, and I spent time in the gross Vegas, like the seedy underbelly of Las Vegas, before it was the glitz and glamour. Not that it's real glitz and glamour, it's all facade, but I spent some time in the real annals, the real bowels of Las Vegas as a kid. And I do remember seeing what money does to people. I remember my mom would always keep us from my dad when he was gambling because it was certainly a sight to see, or certainly a sight to not see rather. But there was one time where I caught him, like my eye caught him, and I saw him at the table, and my mom realized, and she quickly ushered us through, because you kind of had to walk through this path in the casino to get from point A to point B. And I spotted him, and he looked like, and he's a big man, but there was something skeletal about his figure in that moment. Not that he was thin, because he was a big boy, but he was hollowed out. There was something hollowed from his features, and it was if like his soul had been completely sucked out of him. He was drained in a way that I'd never seen and hollowed out in a way that I'd never seen. He was a husk of a human being, and it was scary. It was scary to see. And my mom was like, oh shit, and she kept us going. But yeah,
so basically that would put
and now
you
Vegas
in like
is dying.
a trance. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a trance for sure. And all those sounds, like ding 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 ding, all the sounds and the glittering lights.
Like we say about sound being the most important one. Like when you hear ding ding ding, and really you've won like $1, but it's making noises like you've dropped the jackpot. That's what it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Even the flooring in Las Vegas hotels is hypnotic. Everything about a casino is psychological warfare. Everything.
And it's like an up and down. I've got a friend who does it now. Crazy does it, but he's either on a high where he's just like buying everybody drinks and everything, or you
the
don't
deepest
see
of
him.
depression. Yeah.
Yeah.
The lowest of lows. The highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Yeah. It's a rush. It's it's a real destructive one. And it's just such a weird addiction because like you're not consuming anything, but you are being consumed. You're being consumed.
But but it also feels like you are consuming something as well.
It gives you the dopamine hit just like a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a drug. Yeah, they've studied the brains. But when I say they've studied the brains, take this with a pinch of salt because I'm not even sure what our brains do. But the story goes, and I based on anecdotal whatever, I can see it. That the same chemical reactions that you would get from a hit of crack cocaine, that's the delight in your brain. This is the same chemical ping pong that goes on. Beep, boop, 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 boop. All these flood of norepinephrine and dopamine and all these chemicals, they say, are released into your brain, and the exact mechanism and the exact order and quantity that they would be is if you were taking real street drugs. And that's what happens when you're rolling the dice. You're getting a hit of just like a street drug. I wish my dad was still around. There's so many things that I would love to chat with him about because he passed, many years before, he passed in 2015. So 5 years before I became HV and started looking at the world this way. But God, I would love to talk to him about those times. Now that I have this new lens, I would love to just hear more of his stories because I think I couldn't have asked him these questions before because I was still very much in like a blame game of, I don't think I could have had a conversation about casinos without just being like, you shouldn't have been gambling or something like that. Like, I don't think I would have had the capacity to be like, Dad, tell me what it was like for you, like psychosocially, physiologically, what was going on in your mind? How did it feel in your body when you were throwing those dice? Like, I don't think I would have had the capacity or the curiosity from that angle to really talk to him about the mechanisms of his addiction in those times and like what he was really thinking and how it felt. And I don't know. I have a lot more sympathy and compassion for him as an addict, as being stuck in an addiction that is very vicious, and it's also socially acceptable. And my brother has addictions that are not socially acceptable. Though he has addictions that will land you in jail. You get caught with hard street drugs, you're gonna go to the big jail. But what my dad was wrestling with, and it was not illegal. It was very much celebrated in society, and it makes it even harder. And
like alcohol in it, really, same thing. Like,
yeah, it's and I've been seeing a lot of like the kids aren't drinking anymore, and I'm actually seeing some weird articles about how we're losing something special with alcohol. Now that we're not drinking anymore as a society, consumption is down, way down. And it's almost like the machine is like fighting back, like, no, 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 you need me. You need alcohol for a social lubricant. It's so important. All of history has been, formed and fashioned over alcohol, And I'm like, okay, next. We don't need you. It just feels like the machinery is desperate for us to go back to this thing. But yeah, I don't know. And maybe there is in some quantities. We've talked about this before. It's all about quantity as well, and our relationship with things. And I think that maybe there is like a level of alcohol that might be therapeutic or might be ritualistically important, key something. And a lot of the alcohols have the word key in it, like whiskey, tequila, alcohol. No, but there's a few. Alky. Exactly. No, there's, and I do think there might be a key. There might be a key and some sort of ritualistic, you take a certain quantity and it opens up some pathway. But I think that as a society, we're like taught to not use these things in a sacred way. We're taught to like mow right over the sacred element and just consume it casually, and then through that casual consumption, we are not able to tap into whatever magic, whatever like small quantity ritualistic magic this thing may have, this key may unlock, this whiskey may unlock. But yeah, I think that it's the relationship with these things that I think needs to be our relationship with alcohol as a society, our relationship with money as a society, our relationship with each other as a society. All of these things need to be rejigged. Yeah, reworked. All right, Rambo. I've been all over the place. I got a little bit of fatigue from the conspiracy world.
Yeah,
everybody just
I'll have a look maybe this week. I've
at the
been out.
conspiracy.
I
Good.
still holiday mode.
Good.
The holiday thing just stayed on me. So
No, that's probably the best thing that you can do. The best thing that we can be doing right now is to be turning off our screens. Pour it back into your own life. What's next in the Charlie Kirk saga? Who cares? We shouldn't. We shouldn't be invested. We shouldn't be invested at all. We should not be invested at all. And the fact that JonBenet Ramsey has been inserted into the story is all the information we need to let it go. The system is scraping the bottom of the barrel by inserting JonBenet into it. And we've got to just let it go. We cannot jump back into the pit. We can't get back in. Save yourself. It's the only way. Oh, and before we go, I just want to add, I'm having a little HV meetup in Austin on October. What is the date? I think it's October 18, but let me consult my address book. Yes, on Saturday, October 18, I'm going to do a meetup at Barton Springs Pool in Austin, just a little casual get together. If you are local, I would love to get to see you, get to meet you in person. And I'm also going to the mothership that night. I'm going to Sam Tripoli's show at Joe Rogan's Club.
you're going, yeah.
Yes. And so I bought tickets. Usually tickets are sold out. I've never been able to go to his club when I've been in Austin because it's always been a last minute thing and it's just sold out. And so I went ahead and secured tickets ahead of time. I feel like, I've been on Sam's show a couple of times now. And I feel like if I'm going to the mothership to see any act, this isn't like a random one. This is someone that I know personally. And I think that there's something cool there, that it's not just like a random dropping in on a random show, but that'll be fun. So it'll be a stacked day. Would love to see you. I think I have at noon, probably noon till about 12 noon to about 4 or 5. Hang for a few hours, Barton Springs, catch some rays if it's warm enough. Take a dip in the pool, the healing waters of Barton Springs. But yeah, that's coming up October 18. All right, Rambo. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Take care.